gosh, Coyote, can you believe it? It's almost St. Patrick's Day. You know what that means. It means it's time for a big feast of turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and green bean casserole and pumpkin pie and fresh cranberry sauce. Oh, but golly, where are we going to find fresh cranberries in the Monongahela National Forest? Oh wait, what's this? The Cranberry Glades? Bet we'll find some there. Come on, Coyote, let's go. Wow, folks, what a view! Behind me here, you can see the location of the cranberry bog in the game area, which we'll be visiting shortly. But in the real world, it's actually on the other side of West Virginia's Scenic Highway 150. And when they say scenic, boy oh boy do they mean it, especially in the fall. But check out how exact that view is compared to the in-game version. Right over there, you'd have Fisher Sight Prime, and back over here, you'd have Watauga. So the view is exactly as you would see it from this popular camp build spot overlooking the bog in the game. And don't forget, Chipsar's Palace and Casino will be right there looking out at that view. So let's get down there and check it out and do a little exploring. Come on. Okay, folks, so here we are at the Cranberry Mountain Nature Center. This is where our trip into the Cranberry Glades will begin. So here is Diana Stoll. Hi, Diana. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Chip.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here. We really appreciate it. This is an exciting location. It's an iconic game location. And we're going to get out there and see the Cranberry Glade actually. Now in the game, it's called the Cranberry Bog, but in the real world, it's the Cranberry Glade. So Diana, tell us a little about yourself and tell us about the Glade.
Well, I'm the director here at the Nature Center. And we've got this quaint little nature center. A lot of people love to come here. We get lots of repeat visitors. We've got that down-home atmosphere, and we're friendly, and everybody just enjoys coming here. We've got that hospitality people come to expect when they come to West Virginia.
Yes, and I have to say, I've been traveling around West Virginia now, and everywhere I go, that's what you find. Wonderful, kind people, and so hospitable. And they go out of their way to help and just share and tell stories. I've spent so much time just sharing stories with people. They are so genuinely wonderful. This is a beautiful state. It's a glorious state. And the people are among the best you're ever going to meet. So, Diana, you are certainly one of those. And boy, do you make us feel at home.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about the Cranberry Glade before we go in there and check it out.
Okay. Well, the Cranberry Glades is a unique area. It has plants and things that you would not find anywhere else around here. For instance, a lot of the plants we have are things that you'd only see growing further north in the colder climates. Mm-hmm. It's like this area was left behind after the Ice Age. Some of the plants there were here because it was so cold at that time, and they just stayed here.
Oh, fascinating.
It's in a bowl kind of area, and it just stays cooler and moister, and the plants thrive there.
Oh, excellent. Now, will we see pitcher plants when we're out there?
Yes, we'll see. We've got two carnivorous plants, the pitcher plant and the sundew, and the round sundew.
Oh, those are in the game.
Yep, and those two, they're a little hard to pick out, but I can show you exactly where they are.
Oh, awesome.
And we can get a close-up and everybody can see what they really look like.
Now, I'm not in danger of being eaten by one like in the game?
No, I don't think that you could fit in the pitcher.
Okay, good.
And the sundew actually is about the size of a penny.
Oh, wow. Things have changed.
Right.
So, well, that's good. And then one other safety tip, there won't be any scorched bees flying around, right? We're okay with that?
Yeah, we're
good.
No problem.
Well then, since I'm probably going to survive it, lead the way.
Let's go.
The Cranberry Glades, or just the Glades as many of the locals refer to them, are a group of 5 boreal bogs located in the southwestern end of Pocahontas County, West Virginia, and is part of the Monongahela National Forest, and is a protected area officially called the Cranberry Glades Botanical Area. The reserve is at an elevation of approximately 3,400 feet above sea level and is the headwaters to the Cranberry River, a wildly popular trout fishing area, and is adjacent to the expansive Cranberry Wilderness, which encompasses about 50,000 breathtaking acres of natural splendor. The Cranberry Glades themselves are approximately 730 acres and mainly comprised of what are called peat bogs, commonly found farther north, as Diana mentioned earlier.
So as the sphagnum moss builds up and stacks up on itself, it breaks down and sort of composts, and it builds up into a layer of peat moss, and they say that that's like 10 feet deep in parts of the glades and maybe deeper. That's why it has such a spongy texture when you walk across it, which you should not do because you're supposed to be on the boardwalk.
We'll stay on the boardwalk.
Thank you.
The land in the glades is highly acidic, providing ideal conditions for a number of unusual plant species to thrive here, which are normally only found at higher altitudes. These include cranberries, sphagnum moss, skunk cabbage, and as Diana also mentioned, two carnivorous plants, the purple pitcher plant and the sundew, both of which we know from our excursions into our very own Cranberry Bog in Fallout 76. The origin of the Cranberry Glades goes back about 12,000 years. It is generally accepted that a forest of conifer northern hardwoods replaced the remaining tundra in the area towards the end of the glacial period. As the years passed, the glades formed into the unique ecosystem they are today. In modern times, most of the area is comprised of peat that can be up to 10 feet thick in places. Beneath the peat are layers of algal ooze, and beneath that is what is called marl, a geological formation of carbonate minerals, clays, and silt. It is the same material that gives the White Cliffs of Dover its famous look. Large parts of the reserve are a true bog, a wetland covered with all kinds of species of decaying vegetation which breaks down naturally to form the peat, making the bog surface less like a typical bog quicksand or swamp, but more like a giant sponge. The bog is essentially a bowl sitting between the Cranberry, Kennison, and Black Mountains. In 1911, early researchers identified 5 distinctive glades: the Big Glade, approximately 59 acres, the Flag Glade, approximately 28 acres, the Long Glade, about 20 acres, the Round Glade, just about 8 acres, and the Little Glade, so named for being just 1 acre. The Cranberry Glades are home to all kinds of species of animals, including beavers, otters, white-tailed deer, black bears, the West Virginia flying squirrel, and of course, the fearsome chipmunk, apex predator and king of the... well, maybe not here. There's all kinds of birds to see as well, including Swainston's thrushes, hermit thrushes, mourning warblers, purple finches, ravens, and hawks. In addition, there's plenty of aquatic creatures too, such as crayfish, a distant cousin to our less than favorite mirelurk hunters. The Cranberry Glades have been widely studied by scientists starting around the 1930s, and most frequently by Professor Maurice Brooks, and later by botanist and researcher Earl Lemley Core in 1955. In 1974, the Cranberry Glades Botanical Area was designated a National Natural Landmark, a program that recognizes and encourages the conservation of areas that are outstanding examples of natural history within the United States. The Cranberry Glades is one of West Virginia's most popular tourism locations along the Highland Scenic Highway corridor. Upon entering the Glades, guests will first encounter the Cranberry Mountain Nature Center, a fantastic interpretive center which will help you learn all about the Glades and make your visit much more interactive. Once in the Glades, you'll discover a boardwalk which allows you to traverse the amazing place safely and with ease, and is full of educational kiosks to point out key features of this wonderful area. Visitors must stay on the boardwalk when visiting the Cranberry Glades to help ensure the preservation of this fragile and amazing ecosystem. So now that we know a little bit more about the Cranberry Glades, let's get to exploring and see it for ourselves. Oh, and though dogs are welcome on the boardwalk, Coyote decided to remain in the chipmobile to keep an eye on our turkey dinner. Always vigilant, that Coyote. looking at out here, and why do they call this the Cranberry Glade?
Well, if you get close to the floor of the glades, you'll see little tiny vines with red berries on them. Those are cranberries. Now, they're not the same species as what you would commercially grow, but they're still the same kind of thing. You have to wait until they get ripe, and then they have to get frosted on before they're really good to eat. So you can't really see them. They're really small. But the white things you see out here, this is cotton grass, and it turns like this in the fall, and that contributes to the different colors that you have out here in the fall. Nearly everything in the glades, ferns all the way up to the trees, turns fall color, so it's spectacular to look at. This is my favorite season.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. And if you're going to come and visit, folks, definitely do it in the fall. The colors, as you saw, are just spectacular. And as you can see, even from this vantage point, we'll get farther in a little bit, but it looks exactly like it does in the game. I mean, walking to the Fisher Site Prime or whatever, from Watauga or wherever you go, this is exactly the same kind of landscape and color and everything else. So good job, guys, on recreating this area. So anyway, Diana, let's move on, continue on into the glade.
Okay, let's go.
All right, after you. So this is a really beautiful area, and we're learning all about the flora and fauna. And is this a rhododendron?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
There are two different kinds of laurel. This is the big laurel, rhododendron, and then there's a smaller one I can show you later that's the mountain laurel, and it's a lot different. The leaves are different, and so is the flower.
Now, do these get those big pink flowers?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
What time of year?
There are a couple different varieties. These usually bloom about the end of June. So about the same time as the orchids come up in the glades.
Okay. There's two plants all over in the game, and the rhododendron's one, and then there's this blue thing. Can't remember the name of it, but they're all over, and you collect them, and that's cool. So the real world plant here, folks, the rhododendron. So let's go on and see what else we can find.
Okay.
Okay, folks, so we come to the Cranberry Glades to see cranberries, and look here. We have a cranberry here, and then down along here there's a whole bunch more. So they're not nuclear irradiated cranberries, but they're cranberries nonetheless. So pretty cool. This is why the glade gets its name. There is a cranberry. So maybe I wasn't quite right about there not being mirelurks here. There are definitely crustaceans. Fortunately for us, a lot smaller. So right here, you're gonna see a little kiosk talking about the crayfish. They are native to the area. They're in the water all over out here. We're not gonna go digging for them. But if you wanna find out about crayfish, this is a great place to learn. And they're wonderful creatures. And fortunately, again, they're only about that big as opposed to this big. So I won't be on the menu today. Folks, so as we come along, we've come to another kiosk, this one talking about the purple pitcher plant. Now, we'll probably see some as we go along, but as you can see, it's depicted here. It's a little different from the in-game version, and I can guarantee you a lot smaller. So obviously the in-game ones are about this tall, and they open up, and you never know what you're going to get. But here, they're probably only about that big. So, but it is a carnivorous plant, which is a fascinating thing. And the Cranberry Glades has them, and you can learn about them at the kiosk and hopefully see some as you go.
That's a purple pitcher plant, and it's just what it sounds like. It gets water in it. Insects get trapped inside, and then they become a meal for something. There's one species of spider that rappels down into it with a web and picks out the dead bug and pulls it back out without getting trapped inside.
So as you can see, there are some really unusual things to see here in the Cranberry Glades that were left over from the Ice Age. And in the real world, they're not likely to swallow you whole. Now that we've had the opportunity to explore the glades, let's head back to the Nature Center and learn all about this amazing area and what you can find here.
Okay folks, so here we are at the Nature Center, Interpretive Center. Let's go on inside and see what it has to offer. Come on, Coyote. Okay, so apparently service dogs are allowed in here, but not actual dogs.
Welcome to the Cranberry Mountain Nature Center.
So we're going to check this out. It's a wonderful gift shop with all kinds of things you can take home to remember this wonderful trip to the Cranberry Glade by, and see all kinds of interesting things.
So in the gift shop area, you'll find all kinds of souvenirs, from t-shirts like these. Oh, here's a nice Sasquatch one. You can always remember the Sasquatch. And then there's all kinds of books and fun things for kids, and all kinds of cool outdoor gear, and all sorts of wonderful keepsakes and gifts that are perfect for you to remember your visit to the Cranberry Glades by. And as you go further in, you'll discover a few interesting exhibits like this awesome topographical map, which gives you all kinds of information about the topography of the Cranberry Glades and shows you all the trails and points of interest. And check this out. That's a handmade quilt of the Monongahela National Forest area.
This quilt's actually an interpretive display, and it was made by two local ladies, Ruth Brooks and her daughter, who are from Craigsville, West Virginia, just close by.
So over here, we have an amphitheater where you can go in. They do all kinds of events here. There was recently a violinist. They do different things, but you can learn a lot about the Cranberry Glade from the movie shown here. So come on in, let's take a look. And Coyote's going in. Have a seat. So right inside, you can see this is used for all kinds of educational things. And right now, there is an exhibit talking about the different venomous snakes that are found in the area. Now, I can now challenge Scoutmaster Jaggy, because he said there's 3 types of venomous snakes, and I've discovered there's only 2, which is good because that's one less I have to worry about when I'm walking the trails.
West Virginia is home to 2 kinds of venomous snakes, the copperhead and the timber rattlesnake. Be sure to avoid them both.
Oh gosh, I could have sworn he said 3. Coming around to the other side of the Nature Center,
you're going to find some fantastic displays. A lot of taxidermy displays that are really wonderful, and you can really see the wildlife. So for instance, here is the black bear. That would native to West Virginia, obviously. So there's a typical black bear. But check this out, folks. This is amazing. If you want to see the wildlife and you're not lucky enough to see it live, this exhibit has everything. There's from waterfowl and ducks to an otter, which I didn't even know there were otters out here, but there are. There's the otter, the beaver, some grouse, all kinds of things. Again, a black bear up there, a great blue heron, which are beautiful birds. There's a bobcat, so who, of course, they do a lot of music in Fallout. And, oh, look, coyote, a coyote. Hey, it's not. Hey, maybe you're not a real coyote. Yeah, whatever.
This is the rest of our snake enclosure. We've got an interpretive sign here that tells you all the snakes that we have in West Virginia, including the 2 venomous ones. And these aquariums hold much of them. We try to get one of every one of them so everybody can see the differences. And on Sundays we have a show where Roy takes all these into the auditorium and he presents them each one and lets everybody look at them. And then when it gets to the very end, you get to put a 4 or 5 foot black snake over your shoulders and get your picture taken. This is our new venomous snake enclosure. We just completed it about 2 years ago. And it contains the only 2 venomous snakes we have in West Virginia. And we also have a black rat snake in there with them. So you can see that they get along with each other. It's not like they compete or anything. And this is probably the most looked at display that we have. Everybody loves the snakes.
Yep.
We've seen so many interesting plants and just so many fascinating things. This is just a beautiful, beautiful place to visit. And I can't recommend it enough for all the Fallout fans. Come visit the actual cranberry bog and see some amazing things. You won't see the monsters, which is good, but you'll see scenery and color and cranberries and pitcher plants. It's all here and you can enjoy it. Stay on the boardwalk and be respectful to the plants and the animals, but come and see it because you're really here and it's fascinating. Diana, I can't thank you enough for having us here.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. So thank you so much. The Fallout fans, thank you, and hopefully they'll see you when they come and visit, but we really, really, really appreciate the time you spent with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's head back and have a great day.
Okay.
All right.
Boy, that sure was an awesome day in the Cranberry Glades, wasn't it, Coyote? Well, here you go. Oh, here's your St. Patrick's Day turkey feast. Oh, so good. Cranberries. Well, time to call it a night, Coyote. Hey, why don't you pick where we're gonna go next? Oh, that'll be awesome.